You know when you're listening to a native podcast and they make a joke and you're just like, Last week it was the first time I actually got the joke in a native podcast and it felt amazing because like I always listen to the jokes and I never get what they're saying. It's funny, it's like literally just the part where they make the jokes is just the part where I don't get. But anyway. So in one of my previous videos, one of you recommended that BBC Swahili would be a good way for me to find videos with subtitles in them. Now, I'm just going to walk you through exactly how I'm doing this, how I'm collecting all these videos with subtitles in them, so then my passive listening, or my passive watching, let's say, increases. Like every single minute I spend watching, the quality of that increases because I have subtitles there, which I think helps quite a lot, because what I'm able to do is that I'm able to associate the sounds with symbols and meaning. And so if I see the same word again and again, I can see that word, I associate sounds with that word and then a specific context. And I think it like raises my potential to learn that word because the curiosity within me increases. And so then when I see it in my active, it's absorbed much more quicker. And so yeah, I think it's super effective. And now looking back on my Spanish and reflecting on my journey with Spanish, there was pretty much almost every video in Spanish had Spanish automatically generated subtitles, and I think that helped me immensely. So if I can get a collection of all the Swahili videos with subtitles in them, and even if it's just like 30-40, like that's a lot, and I can just keep rewatching them, then that's awesome. So let me jump in and show you guys how I'm doing this right now. So as you can see, I just go through playlists. So BBC Swahili have loads of playlists, and basically what I do is I just I open one of their playlists up, and every single time I come to passively watch something, and it's not that much every day, it's like maybe 10 minutes a day I have time to passively watch, I basically go down and then I see video by video. Now these videos that are usually 12-13 minutes long usually don't have them. If I've already watched it. But then I will open one and then I'll just hop to the middle of it and try to see if there's subtitles. If there isn't, I'd leave it and I will move on basically until I find one. So for example, this one has subtitles. As you can see, I just go through playlists. So BBC Swahili have loads of playlists, and basically what I do is I just I open one of their playlists up, and every single time I come to passively watch something, and it's not that much every day, it's like maybe 10 minutes a day I have time to passively watch, I basically go down and then I see video by video. Now these videos that are usually 12-13 minutes long usually don't have them. If I've already watched it. But then I will open one and then I'll just hop to the middle of it and try to see if there's subtitles. If there isn't, I'd leave it and I will move on basically until I find one. So for example, this one has subtitles. Let me take my headphones
Their
off.
daughters in this new wave of migration.
So one of the things that I try to do is only find videos with Swahili audio and Swahili subtitles. They do have a couple where the speakers are speaking in whatever language they're speaking in, and then it's translated in Swahili. But even though that can be useful, I'm just trying to get that high yield content with audio and text. So this is in Swahili. Even though the whole video isn't Swahili, I'll add it on. This is actually the first time I see one that's not all in Swahili, but I guess it happens. I just missed this video, let's see. Okay guys, a little update about Anki. So as you guys know, I've been struggling last month, and so basically for the last 2 weeks I haven't really been using any supplements at all. I've just been going through the content that I found. But I think I've hacked this system. So before I was able to have the English in the front and then Swahili at the back, but just that, like with no example sentence. But now, basically, as I'm going through the content, what I do is I highlight phrases, right? Like that's a thing you can do. I'll probably show it somewhere here. That's a thing you can do, like just highlight phrases as opposed to just words. And so basically, if I highlight the phrases and I export the phrases onto Anki, then I get sentences rather than just words. So that's basically what I'm doing right now. I've only started it today, so we'll see how it goes. With flashcards, I know it could be useful as a supplement, but to be honest with you, all I want to do is listen to content and consume the content on language tools. Do you know what I mean? Like to go through the content like that, because it's enjoyable. It's the content that I'm doing when I'm reviewing, like even if it's isolated sentences, language-wise that's good because it's concepts I found difficult, it's phrases that I want to like know, and it's like words that I don't know. It's all good, but in terms of language, but in terms of like my focus and engagement, it's pretty low because it's not within a story, it's not within a dialogue, it's not within content that I enjoy. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where it's like efficacy versus enjoyment. And at the same time, like I know the more I read and listen from my experience with Spanish, it'll be okay. So I don't know, guys. We'll have to see how it goes. So really, the problem is that I can't add new cards as I'm studying new material. So there's no way for you to just extract. It's like right now, if I upload everything, if I export a full deck right now, it will be exporting all the deck of learning words that I have onto Anki. But as I'm doing new articles, I'm learning new words, right? So I want those to be added to the deck. But it will also add the words that I'm learning that I've already added to the deck previously. So basically I'll have so many duplicates of words from the previous times that I've updated it. And that was the problem the first time I tried it as well. That's a really big problem because obviously like the deck, it has like 60,000 words. I don't know what's going on. But just because it's so many duplicates, because every single time I add to it, I'm adding ones that are pretty much already there. Another problem with Anki is that I'm enjoying my articles a lot and I'm enjoying my passive listening a lot. So in terms of trying to get, because I know like even if I do want to use Anki, it's going to only be for 5 minutes a day. So really the question is, do I want 5 minutes of Anki or do I want 5 minutes of passive listening? And the relative situation is I am getting enough passive listening, but I don't know whether the value of Anki will make me want to do it, especially enjoyment wise, because I know I'll enjoy passively listening more, to be completely honest with you. And I'm doing well, generally speaking, my word count's increasing well. I feel like I'm understanding more and more, definitely. So I don't know, there doesn't feel like a need to kind of implement Anki into my system right now. Oh, another problem as well is that I can't seem to export the phrases. It only seems to be exporting the words. And actually I would have been much more likely to use the phrases just because I'm highlighting very specific phrases. I have a whole system of kind of how which kind of phrases I choose to add. And I'd really like to review them actually. I feel like that'd be really useful. But I can't do that, so I don't think I'd be able to start there. Good thing about Anki would be that I'd obviously have something different in my language learning system. I'd be getting spaced repetitions for possibly lower frequency words, helping accelerate the process. And I'd learn how to use it, and I know that I'm going to have to use Anki when I come to advance in any of these languages that I'm learning. Another good thing with Anki would be that I'd actually be able to see all the words that don't have a definition, because all the words that don't have a definition, I've marked them as learning. So I'd upload them into Anki, I'd click spacebar so I can know the answer, but there'd be no answer, or it'd be just the same word in Swahili. So I'd be able to flag them or suspend them or whatever, and then go with a native speaker and get definitions for all of them, add it to the website so it can benefit other Swahili learners learning the website. And so then that would be something beneficial. But I'm not sure if that's something that I want to do right now. Hello guys, I found myself a cylinder. So this is where we're going to do this part of the video. So I just wanted to talk about, I remember in my bonus video I mentioned that I found loads of dictionaries for Swahili when I was doing my whole research, and I thought like I would never use them because like I'm using the website that's now called OP Linguo. But they actually came in handy because what happened is now that I've recommended that they put it in, and they've added it in now. So I told you guys, I followed up on the message, and actually they had already added it in. So I can actually see 3 different dictionaries. I think 3 different dictionaries other than Google Translate, which has is like helping me so much because there's pretty much all the words that I couldn't see before on Google Translate now I can see. So that's helped a lot. Also with this whole new update that they have on the website, now I can actually see my graph. So you can see for like right from the start, like it's very like slow. And that's the time where I was doing the courses, etc. I don't know how many months there are. I think there was like the first 2 to 3 months, or even 4 months. It was very very slow, my word count, because I was doing loads of courses. And so then the second I entered the like more comprehensive kind of just reading and listening phase, you could start to see that there was like a constant acceleration that's continuing now. And that's just the phase I'm in. Like my word count's increasing quite a lot, and so it's really nice to kind of like, because I've just been speaking about it so far, but you couldn't actually see it like you could see the numbers every month, but you couldn't see it in like a graph. It's really nice to see it in a graph, to kind of see like when I speak about this cumulative phase where the word count's increasing, you can kind of see that visually, and it's really cool. I'm starting to think at which word count, or at, like which marker would I use to see like, okay, when should I start outputting and when should I start saying that I'm slowly starting to get to the end of this kind of high P2 phase. And in terms of word count, that's one way to do it. Obviously I can't really use Spanish that much because like I said, it's a bit different with Swahili, but this graph is something that I think would help a lot. Like as as an alternative to the word count, because with this graph I can see when it starts to stagnate, because I'm using the same level material, right? I'm using like these articles, so I'm not reading any books, I'm not reading any advanced level stuff. So the word count, like the amount of new words that I learn, should start to stagnate, right? Because the words that I should be coming across that are new should be words of lower frequency, as opposed to words that I would class in like the B2 range. And so this graph could actually be really useful to help me kind of see where I'm at. But of course, more so than both of those things, I think it's just a feeling of, okay, I understand a lot of what I'm listening to, and I get this really strong urge to start speaking, which hasn't really manifested itself yet in the way that would make me feel like I've stopped, and I don't expect it to either. Like I don't even know where I am, to be honest with you. I'm in the middle of it, and I don't know where I am in this kind of comprehension phase, in this thing, how long it will keep going like this, but we'll see. Okay guys, so it's time for the wrap up. So it's been 6 weeks this time, not our classic 4 week, but yeah, just been super busy, so it is what it is. So starting with the word count and generally how I feel about like my progress and comprehension and all of that good stuff. So last month I left you at 10,009 numbers. 10,943 words, and this month it is 18,304, and that's a difference of 7,361. So comparing it with last month, it's a bit hard to do because it's 6 weeks rather than a month like last time, but that's a bit more of an increase. Now obviously we already know it's inflated, but I just want to mention that actually now I feel like my word count's increasing at a much slower pace. Like in the last 5-6 days-ish, I always check my word count after I finish my study session, and yeah, they've been increasing by less and less every single day, which is to be expected actually, because now I'm actually getting to the end of the B2 kind of region. You know, for the next 3-4 months I would say, you know, the word count's going to go slower. I'm going to understand most of the content that I'm consuming, but not every single word, because the words are of lower frequency. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's obviously really exciting to know that like now I'm almost close to 20,000 words, which is like a huge milestone. I might need to have like a party on the channel. Don't know how we're gonna do that, but yeah. This is the part I think where my urge to speak will start to grow really like big. I mentioned last time, like my last video, that it was like at around 5%. Now it's grown like say 10-15. You know, I speak a bit more with myself. It's a bit more articulate, but not really. Realistically, you know, it's still a long way away. But this next period is where that urge is I think is gonna start growing a lot, and hopefully I'll let you know throughout the next weeks how that goes, because I know like the output is a really exciting part of it. Because when you hear it so much, you're just like, oh, I just wish I can sound like that, right? Okay, moving on swiftly to active. We have 124 hours and 12 minutes last time, and then 26 hours and 33 minutes, making it 150 hours and 45 minutes, which is cool. I haven't been able to add any more time other than the half an hour to like 45 minutes. It's usually like 36-37 minutes a day, just because I've been super busy with other things. Basically what I do is I do three episodes of the radio drama, and so maybe I'll be able to push it up to 4, but we'll have to see. I'm nearing the end of this whole thing. I like it because every 10 episodes you get a complete new cast, a complete new story, which is what's keeping me into it really. Because with Spanish, of course, the TV show was like I was really into it, and then there was endless amounts of YouTube videos, an endless amount of TV shows that I could have chosen. So with Spanish, the interest was always there, and I feel like, you know, with Swahili, I really would love to have a TV show with subtitles, but it is what it is. Yeah, so as I mentioned before, because the word count because now the words are of lower frequency, I do feel like I have to go through more content in order to kind of see the words enough times for me to know them. So like the spaced repetition idea is like less effective now, and so now there would be more of an argument for me to start to use Anki a bit more seriously, and I might consider doing that if I finish all the content with audio and text together. But for now, I think I'm just going to continue, and I know with Spanish that like I'm going to get those words anyway, and I'm not getting any harm by, you know, reading and watching and listening content that I understand 85-ish% of it. You know, like that's just reinforcing the same thing. That's really quite valuable actually, because that reinforces it and it gives me that kind of like comfort with all of those structures. I feel like you do need a period of time to just consume content that you can already understand decently well. And so in this period, I'm doing both things. I'm getting the lower frequency and I'm also reinforcing that core of what I already have, and the structures, etc. Also now I'm becoming much more aware of the grammar points, the structures that I don't really know, just because I'm cleaning up all the little ones that I already know with just more and more comprehension, just more and more input. So yeah, I'm like more like, okay, maybe I'll have to ask my tutor about how is this used, because they're just a bit, there's some things that are a bit weird, but the majority of it is, you know, it's coming in, it's flowing. Okay, moving on to passive. So with passive, last whatever, I left you with 123 hours and 55 minutes. This time I added 70 hours and 17 minutes, making it 194 hours and 12 minutes. Yeah, I do really feel like my passive time, like I've been increasing it a bit more. Not because I've made it more time, like it's not time came out of thin air, rather I've just been choosing to consume more Swahili content as opposed to any other thing. Just because of course when the more you understand, the more you're like, oh, I can find the same kind of content in Swahili and then just kind of consume that. And also just the more excited you become and just like, yeah, just it kind of, yeah, it's commutative. I've been slowly, over the last week, I've been leaning more towards native material to listen to passively as opposed to listening to the same material that I'm actively studying, which I've been doing for a really long time. And that's really just because I've been able to understand native material better, and so obviously that's the more enjoyable stuff. Generally, you don't want to hear the same thing again if you understood it well the first time. But I really want to force myself to go back to that rule that I had, which is listen to the same content that you're actively studying first before moving on to the native content. And the reason for that is because, again, like after I finish this active content, that's it. Like I will only be with native content. So I might as well try to make the most out of it, as I keep saying. But it's hardest now when I can listen to native content and enjoy that pretty decently well. In terms of comprehension, when I passively listen to native content, I can understand around 85% now, which is amazing. I know it's great. But the thing is that sometimes I miss the main point of the discussion. So like I'll understand all the words and all the sentences around one word that I didn't understand, or one or two words that I didn't understand. And so I know what they're talking about. I know everything. I don't understand what they're talking about, but I can understand, like, do you know what I mean? This period is going to be mostly like that, right? So with 85% comprehension, to close it from 85% to like 95 plus, this is almost as long a journey from getting it to like 40 to 85, because it's just lower frequency. So I'm going to be in this state for a long time, you know. But it's enjoyable because now I can actually follow along native podcasts and understand the story and follow it along. So in terms of the plan for now, like for the next 4, 5, 6, whenever I manage to make the next video, the plan is generally to try to finish this active content. So just continue going through it, try to increase the time, and hopefully I could, you know, get through this and use it the best I can. And also part of the plan is to try to listen to them passively before I move on to listening to native content. And I'm kind of behind. I'm like 12 lessons behind now, so that'll be fun. Also, I'm kind of excited to stop this content with text and audio and move on just to using articles. I don't know, because I just don't know how I'm going to use it. I've never been in a position where I don't have both. Do you know what I mean? So when I get there, I don't know, like, am I just going to try to read the articles out loud? Am I going to try to watch TV shows and like write down words that I don't know? Am I going to, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go through those BBC Swahili videos that have the subtitles and like write down all the words I don't know, make a lesson out of them, and then, you know, just so I can have them there, look up the words, and then go back to the video and hopefully, you know, I don't know how exactly I'm going to use that. And so it's kind of exciting, like language learning methodology wise, to see like how I'm going to tackle not having both of them together. Because of course the more you have of them together, the better, but like because of course the more you have of them together, the better. But of course it's like at this point it's not like I necessarily need it. Like I can read and like it'll be fine, just because of course I've had so much input already. The thing is, like, now I feel like I need to continue. I don't want to get complacent, I don't want to get slow, so I need to keep up the consistency. And what's going to help me is if I find content that I like. Just today I started a new podcast because I had finished the other podcast that I was listening to last month. I started a new podcast and it's on psychology. Like it's a bit like deep, it's a bit technical, and I'm really happy to see that I can actually understand, like I can follow along what they're talking about, which is pretty cool. Okay guys, that's it for this period. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys are enjoying your language learning. Hope your language learning journeys are going well. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, I hope you guys like these videos, by the way. Like, I really love watching other people's like language progress videos, just to see how they're using content, how they move from one to the next, how they're feeling, how their progress is going, what struggles they're having, etc. Because like we're all going through it together, and it's really nice if we all just kind of support each other and enjoy it together, enjoy the journey together. Because it's long, you know. I think the community aspect of it helps you enjoy the process more. See you guys next time.